Let me first of all maybe kick this off by saying, welcome home, Mrs. Peterson. Our nation's 2023 National Teacher of the Year, and so well deserved. Well, before we get started, I would like to make just some introductions so that our students can kind of see the number of folks that are here to not only support Mrs. Peterson, but also to support the amazing school that we have and our amazing students. I'd like to first of all ask, we have some former Teachers of the Year here. If you are here as a former Oklahoma Teacher of the Year, would you please stand so that we can recognize you? You've heard me say this before, and I'll say it again, as long as I can breathe, that Oklahoma possesses some of the finest educators in the nation, without question. We have led the nation. If you don't believe me, just go into our schools. As a state, we have led the nation in the number of nationally certified board teachers that we have, and if you also don't believe us, then just ask Arkansas, Colorado, Missouri, Texas, New Mexico, because those are the states that are continually coming in here and saying, we want the best in the nation, and so they're constantly trying to pull Oklahoma teachers out of Oklahoma into their states, and I know why they would do that for sure. So in addition to that, we have a number of our legislators here, and I know we have many, so if you are a representative or a senator, would you please stand to be recognized? Thank you all for being here. We have to rely on them, students, to be our warriors and our champions for public education in Oklahoma. They have a big job to do right now. I will say this, that right now they're grappling with roughly $500 million. Hopefully it's more like $650 million. You notice that little plug I put in there. And all that new money will run through the formula. I must say that because I know the importance of that in terms of making sure that every student in the state of Oklahoma's education is equalized. That is very, very important. So keep working, keep working. This is the reason why we do what we do. And each and every one of them deserve equalized chances for success. So we'll go ahead. I also have some board members here, actually former board members as well. So if you were a former board member at Union, and we also had the president of our Board of Education, Mr. Ken Kinnear, and his lovely wife, Melissa, they're here. If you'll please stand to be recognized as well. Thank you all. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. At this time, I will say we have some other dignitaries here, but I'll wait to introduce them when it's time. But we're going to go ahead and get started and ask Senator Rader to come forward. He has something from the Senate. So, Senator Rader.
Thank you, Dr. Hartzler. It's such an honor to be able to represent the legislature this morning. Ms. Peterson, if I could, I'm just going to read it, okay? Whereas Rebecka Peterson, a math teacher at Union High School in Tulsa, Oklahoma, has been named National Teacher of the Year for 2023 by the Council of Chief State Schools Officers, the CCSSO. This is the first time in Union High School's history their district has had a finalist, and the first time since 1964 Oklahoma has had a national winner. And whereas CCSSO's National Teacher of the Year identifies exceptional teachers from every state, U.S. extra-state territories, District of Columbia, and the Department of Defense education activities, selecting them as Teacher of the Year from there to National Teacher of the Year. The National Teacher of the Year is chosen by a selection committee made up of 17 individuals and education organizations. And whereas Rebecka has taught math ranging from intermediate algebra to advanced placement calculus for the past 11 years at Tulsa Union High School, engaging and inspiring all her students, and whereas Rebecka Peterson will spend this year as an ambassador for students and teachers across the nation elevating teachers' stories of good happenings in the classroom in hopes of encouraging and attracting more teachers to the profession. And whereas Rebecka Peterson positively impacts all those around her and changed the lives of countless students and will continue to do so, she represents Oklahoma's future and assures us it is a bright one. And whereas this is a most appropriate time for the Oklahoma State Legislature to express appreciation and congratulations to Rebecka Peterson, our state's outstanding educator, for enriching the lives of her students and their families. Now therefore, pursuant to the motion of the legislature of the great state of Oklahoma, extends to Rebecka Peterson sincere appreciation for the outstanding work she has done in education and applauds her accomplishments, signed with the seal of the state.
And now I would like to ask our State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Ryan Walters, to come forward, please.
So Rebecka Peterson, let me tell you something. It's unbelievable to meet a teacher like her, and she's so humble. So I'm going to brag about her for a minute. I want to say a few things. And first of all, it is obvious the impact that you've had on these young people. How much you guys love Rebecka Peterson here at Tulsa Union? Rebecka has had an impact on so many young people who've encountered her. And as I've gotten to know her and as we've talked about what she decided to do when being the State Teacher of the Year, it shows you a glimpse of who she is. She decided to create her blog and to elevate teachers from around the state. This blog that she's gotten has hundreds of thousands of views online. And what we've continued to see, I travel around the state and hear the stories of people who have seen her blog post about teachers in their area and go, it's amazing the teachers we have in the state of Oklahoma. I didn't know that this teacher was doing this here and this teacher was doing this there. She decided to use her platform to lift up others around the state. What a testament to her as a teacher. This is what she did to all the young people in her class, lifting you up so that you can be successful. And she decided to use her platform to do that for teachers around the state. Rebecka Peterson is a teacher that every teacher wants to be like. We want to have that kind of impact on our students. What a great example on the national stage of what an excellent Oklahoma teacher looks like. But I also want to say this. She's the teacher that other teachers want to be like, but she is the teacher that you want as a parent for your kids to have the opportunity to have as a teacher. I thank God that we have a teacher like Rebecka Peterson, that every life she touches, she truly makes an impact. And now, the stage that she'll have will be a stage we'll share her with the country. And that impact she had on students and teachers around the state will now be had on teachers and students across the United States. Rebecka, we are so proud of you in the state of Oklahoma. I speak for the entire state, for our teachers, for our parents, for our communities. We are so proud of the work you're doing, and we know it's just the beginning. Rebecka, thank you so much for your work.
I think as most of you know, Union Public Schools is kind of a unique district in that we don't really have a main street. I mean, Union kind of is that main street. And we are housed in between two amazing cities. And 1/3 of our district, or basically almost 1/3 of our students, reside in Broken Arrow. And so today we have Lisa Ford here. Lisa, will you please stand to be recognized? She is a Broken Arrow City Council woman. And Lisa used to be on our school board too, and I'll never forget when one day she came and says, well, Dr. Hartzler, I'm going to be resigning because I want to run for the Broken Arrow City Council, and she thought I was going to be, I was certainly, not happy about that, but I also knew too that she would be over there representing Union and fighting for us, and she has, and she's going to continue to fight for the Union Red Hawks. So Lisa, thank you very much for being here as a representative of the Broken Arrow City Council. And then also 2/3 of our district, where 2/3 of our students reside, is made up of the city of Tulsa. And today we are honored to have our mayor, G.T. Bynum, to come forward to say a few words.
This is a day of so much pride for our city. And it is a great honor for me to be here today to speak on behalf of all of my fellow Tulsans about the pride that we have in your recognition and your achievement. I did not get to be in Mrs. Peterson's class. Missed out on that, unfortunately. I have come to know her through her blog. And in going through those posts about her time here at Union, teaching the students here at Union, what comes through in that over and over again is not so much calculus, which I appreciated. It is her love for her students. That every student that she had, it comes through, she sees the potential that they have, what they can be in their lives. She creates opportunities for them to learn about service here in our community. Almost at the very end, I think it's maybe the 1400th post, she talks about how the last day of class, she slept 45 minutes that night before, thinking about seeing her students for the last time before school ends that day. There's so much love for those students, and I could not agree more with Superintendent Walters. When I read that not as a mayor, but as a dad who loves his children more than anyone in the world. And Mrs. Peterson is exactly the kind of teacher that you want your child to have. She sees her students in the way that a parent would want their child to be seen, and the way that any of us in a classroom would want to be seen by our teacher. So I was driving my daughter to school this morning, and I was telling her about this. I said, can you believe this? This is the first time since the 1960s that an Oklahoman has been recognized in this way nationally, National Teacher of the Year. And my daughter said, well, is she getting this because she's a good teacher or because she's a good person? And I said, well, yes. Any of us who have come to know her know it is both. And so, on behalf of all my fellow Tulsans, I want to thank you for being that bearer of good news that is reflected in your middle name. The way that you represent our community to the world is a reminder, and is going to be over the coming year as you go all over the United States, that the best when it comes to students, to education, and to learning, and to teaching is right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma at Union. Could we show our appreciation to Mrs. Peterson for that? You might look behind you there. So the highest honor that any mayor can give anybody is the key to the city. And on behalf of everybody here in Tulsa today, I want to present that to you.
Mayor, I was going to ask, I've never really had the courage to ask a mayor what that key really does. But I kind of would like to know. Is it like a new car, a new house, or, you know, maybe being able to walk into any restaurant, you know, in the city of Tulsa and saying, I'm Rebecka Peterson, can I get a free meal? So thank you very much for that. You know, Rebecka, we could all stand up here and just continue to say so many amazing things, and I appreciate the words of Superintendent Walters and the mayor and Senator Rader. Truly, she is an amazing teacher, but she is equally an amazing soul. And I think I can assure to our students and our parents, she represents about 1,000 of those amazing teachers here in Union Public Schools. Students, you probably are not aware of this, but in the fall of 2022, there was a book that was written about you and about Union Public Schools. And we haven't really probably publicized it enough, but now I'm taking the opportunity to do so. And that is, it's called Disrupting Disruption. And this book was written by an author, not a researcher, but also a professor by the name of David Kirt, who's been following the work of Union Public Schools for many, many years. Actually, he's been following you all since many of you all were in elementary school, all the way through high school. And he connected with a group out of California called the Learning Policy Institute. It's Linda Darling Hammond's group, and they began to crunch the data and look at the numbers to say, we want to find 3 schools in America, 3 schools in this nation who represent what it means to be model public school districts. And we haven't really talked about that much about Union because that's not what we really like to do. But I think it's time. It's time now. Because Rebecka has expanded our territory. She's certainly blessed the work that we're doing, and she has expanded our territory. And now I want you to know that this book is certainly going to be talked about more nationally. In the last week, I've talked more about it on networks than I ever have before. But in the foreword of this book, there's a statement that I think really captures the essence of the work that we do at Union Public Schools, and truly the work that's being done really throughout all of Oklahoma. And that is, there are 3 things that make these districts very unique. And that is, 1, they have a challenging, a rigorous, and a relevant curriculum. And that's something that we do each and every day or each and every year in our district is we try to find the most relevant curriculum that we can for our students and give you relevant and challenging experiences. The second thing is these schools have highly engaged students. So I want you all to give yourselves a round of applause for being the kind of students that make us look good. Not just good, you make us look great. So thank you all, each and every one of you. But we also know the last thing, and it truly is the lifeblood of a school's success, and that is these schools have amazing teachers who take a lot of pride and passion in their work. And it was those 3 things that, in my opinion, really capture the essence of what we're about. We not only have the finest students walking through the halls of this school, we have, in all of our schools, we have the finest teachers teaching within the walls of Union Public Schools, and we just happen today have the nation's best. Rebecka Peterson, please come forward.
Thank you so much. My heart's so full. And there's so many emotions, and it's also fragile, you know, full and fragile these days. Well, good morning. What an incredible day to stand here with you all in celebration of Oklahoma education. It's been a whirlwind of a week. Tomorrow, my family and I head to D.C., but what a gift it is to be able to come home, to be with my people. Yeah. You all are the ones who have walked right alongside me the last 11 years. So here's the thing I want to make very clear. I wasn't selected as National Teacher of the Year because I'm the best teacher. There's no such thing as the best teacher. There's an infinite number of ways to be highly effective. Also, teaching isn't a competition, it's a collaboration. I think the reason I was chosen is simply because it's time to tell my story. The story that starts in the state of Oklahoma, in a city called Tulsa, at a school called Union High School. It's our time, and it's our story. You all are the very best parts of me, so know that I'm going to be carrying you with me all over this nation. As an immigrant to this country, Union as a collective, this place that's so culturally rich has been such a soft place for me to land. Still, there are certain individuals in this room today that have carried me to where I am today. Dr. Hartzler, thank you for believing in this for me long before I believed it myself. Thank you for your courageous leadership, not only for this district, but for me personally. I'm so blessed to be a part of the magic that is Union Public Schools. Mr. Tempest, where's Mr. Tempest? Thank you for putting up with me and being my evaluating administrator all these years. I'm exactly the kind of teacher, charmingly opinionated and always with a question at hand. That makes me not want to be a principal. So thank you for not only indulging my many questions, but for affirming my work in the classroom. Mindy, your continuous check-ins and prayers sustained me this year. The way you carried me in your heart, it changed me for the better. To my Oklahoma Teacher of the Year family, thank you for your kind and loving words from the very first day. You are my simultaneous coaches and cheerleaders. UHS Math Department. It's no understatement to say I wouldn't be standing right here without you. That's why I have to read it. You have pushed me to become better every year. You have celebrated with me and cried with me. You gave me a place to belong. I love you to infinity. Morgan and Alyssa, I couldn't have stepped out of the classroom and into the shoes of Oklahoma Teacher of the Year without you. I'd be lying if I said it was easy to unclench my fists and release control of something I'd been knitting together for a decade. But knowing you two were filling the shoes I left behind helped me open my hands. With open hands, I've been able to experience the wealth of memories and experiences that this journey has afforded me. Thank you for both carrying me with you in my room and my courses while still making them yours. Sometimes, when I was in room 2704, I felt I should take off my shoes because much like Moses and the burning bush, that room felt like sacred ground. Leaving that room for a year, and now 2, was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life. But the students here have said it best. You two nurture that room and those classes and have treated them as sacred spaces too, because what we do is sacred work. This work is sacred, teachers, because our kids are our future. To my past students, the longing to you is what my soul was in search of. You are my real-life integral. Infinitesimal inch by infinitesimal inch, you push me towards my calling. You taught me what it looks like to show up, to listen, to work hard. When I wonder how in the world I'm going to make it this year, I always come back to you, the space we shared. Thank you for teaching me what a privilege learning is and for trusting me to guide you. You are forever my one good thing. Finally, thank you to my husband, Brett. You are the best thing that's ever happened to me. Thank you for always encouraging me to pursue my dreams, for championing me even when I didn't believe in myself. Thank you for celebrating me on my good days and for giving me a shoulder to cry on my bad days. Thank you for understanding that being married to me means a lot of days include both laughter and tears, and for never being afraid of that. You and Jonas are the home of my heart and soul. Thank you to each and every one of you for being a part of this story and for being here today. Thank you to each of the dignitaries for taking time out of your day to celebrate the good and important work of Oklahoma educators. My hope this year is to act as sort of a mirror. I hope that teachers all over the country resonate with a part of me, my story, or my classroom. But ultimately, what science has taught us is that what a mirror does is reflect light. As I've learned from teachers across the hall, across the state, and soon across the nation, I know that this country is full of light that our educators are shining, and I'm committed to reflecting that light so it can shine even brighter and farther, spreading your messages even further. Teachers, the first words I learned in English are still my heart song to you. Thank you. As a child, I learned from you, believed in you, walked alongside you. I still do. It is the honor of my lifetime to walk with you and walk for you, as the words my heart carries are, in the end, maybe we're all just walking each other home. Fly high, Red Hawks.
Okay, I asked her to stay up here because, now that she is working for what they call the CCSSO, her schedule and kind of her life, Brett, sorry, is controlled by them, I learned. But I remember meeting with them and Superintendent, your staff here recently, a few weeks ago, and I said, okay, the first speaking engagement that she is going to have, surely I will have a little weight in claiming that. And so she has agreed to be our graduation speaker on May 20th. So. I could not think of a better person to present to all the class of 2023. Rebecka, I will just say, for your students and for your staff members, your colleagues, and for all of us who've been so blessed to get to know you, I don't think any of us were really truly, let's be honest, were really truly that shocked or surprised that she would be selected as the National Teacher of the Year. But I said to Rebecka, and we've talked a lot throughout this process, but I said, this is your season. This is your time. And I'm not a prophet by any means, but I know I've said this numerous times, and I'm sure early on she kept saying, boy, Dr. Hartzler, I wish you'd quit saying that, but I'm sorry, I believed it. I just knew. I kept saying that she will be the National Teacher of the Year. And guess what? You are the National Teacher of the Year. So one more round of applause for Rebecka.